Right, a very good evening to you and Merry Christmas on this 25th day of December 2022. Finally, it is Christmas. How have you spent your Christmas today? Have you shared what you have with those that didn't have? Well, tonight's bulletin is characterized by what has been happening in Marta's Christmas Day celebration and a lot that has been happening in the country and beyond our borders. But first, here are the stories making headlines. Pope Francis sends a message centered on peace amid wars across the world as President William Ruto and the First Lady Rachel Ruto lead a host of other national political leaders in sending Kenyans Christmas greetings. President William Ruto attends an interdenominational Christmas service in Eldoret, calling on the unity of all Kenyans. Kenyans flock Nairobi town for the Christmas celebrations. And the country receives the second cruise ship with 572 tourists. Well, indeed, the Savior has met the manger. Merry Christmas to you once again. You are just in time for KUTV Weekend Prime, and tonight I'm in the company of Sami Okello, who's our sign language interpreter, and I go by the name DAPHNE ORINA. We're streaming live on YouTube at KUTV Kenya and on Facebook at KUTV Kenya. I will be giving you, or rather tonight, I'll be giving you a shout out. Which is just a special way of commemorating Christmas in our, we'll be sampling some of you telling us the feedback you'll be giving us regarding how you spent your Christmas. That aside, let's get right into the broadcast of the night. Now, Pope Francis has led the global Roman Catholic Church in marking this year's Christmas with a message of peace amid unrest in various parts of the world. The Pope has prayed for an end to bloodshed in war-torn regions of Ukraine, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Yemen, among other areas marred by those conflicts. Now, the Pope has also asked the Christians to emulate Jesus Christ, who did good to the same people who had rejected him many times and also ignored him. He added that together with this spirit, Christians should never forget the poor, marginalized, refugees, orphans, elderly, and prisoners living in their midst.
If we want it to be Christmas, the birth of Jesus and of peace, let us look to Bethlehem and contemplate the face of the child who is born for us. And in that small and innocent face, let us see the faces of all those children everywhere in the world who long for peace. Let our eyes be filled with the faces of our Ukrainian brothers and sisters who are living this Christmas in the dark and cold, far from their homes, due to the devastation, the destruction caused by 10 months of war. Let us learn from the Prince of Peace, starting with those who hold political responsibilities, that they commit themselves to make food solely an instrument of peace.
Also, President William Ruto and the First Lady Rachel Ruto have led a host of other national political leaders in sending Kenyans Christmas greetings. In a pre-recorded video message, the President and the First Lady wished Kenyans peace and goodwill, among one other, adding that the spirit of this season should not only be limited to observance of the Christian tradition.
Christians in Kenya today marked a day when Jesus Christ was born, according to the biblical legend narrated in the first 4 books of the New Testament. Apart from merry-making, Christians also used the moment to share messages of goodwill. President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto have shared a video message with Kenyans wishing peace for the country as well as joy, love and care for one another.
Once again, it's time for us to celebrate one of Christianity's central events.
We pray that every one of us strives to live up to the spirit of this season, peace on earth and goodwill among all people.
Let us look out for each other. Give what we can to those in need. Share love and spread joy. And may Almighty God bless you and your family.
Merry Christmas.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, in his Christmas message, also delivered an early New Year's message, adding that at the turn of the year, he will be in Brazil on official duty, representing President Ruto at the inauguration of President-elect Lula da Silva.
During this season, we must promise each other to work for a better tomorrow. This tomorrow is 2023. In leading by example, the new year 2023 will find me abroad working to keep Kenya's international investment ties alive.
On his part, Speaker Moses Wetangula has applauded Kenyans on their conduct during the 2022 elections and urged MPs to take this time to note their constituents' needs while lauding them for the bills passed since they were sworn in 3 months ago.
As we go to Christmas, I want to take this opportunity to thank Kenyans that the year has been challenging, but we have maintained our peace.
Opposition figure Kalonzo Musyoka, on the other hand, wished Kenyans good health, love, peace and prosperity, while Raila Odinga's running mate in the last election, Martha Karua, says high cost of living has denied some Kenyans the merry-making associated with Christmas.
But a year of disappointments too. Let down by the institutions that should be safeguarding our democracy.
The judiciary has also wished Kenyans a memorable Christmas as they look forward to promoting social change through administration of justice in 2023. Receive warm Christmas greetings from KUTV family. Merry Christmas. Dennis Omondi, KUTV.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too, Dennis Omondi. Moving on, President William Ruto and the First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto have today attended a special interdenominational Christmas service in Eldoret Sports Club in Uasin Gishu County. Now, the clergy present called on the president to unite the nation and bring everyone on board during this season.
President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto, accompanied by several leaders, trooped to their home county of Uasin Gishu, where they attended a special Thanksgiving interdenominational service to express their Merry Christmas messages to Kenyans.
Today, that these men and women,
President Ruto in his speech expressed his heartfelt gratitudes to the people of Uasin Gishu for maintaining peace before, during and after the elections. He too thanked them for voting him in as the 5th president of Kenya.
Kwa hivyo mimi nasimama hapa mbele yenu nikiwa na furaha kubwa ya kwamba Mungu alitujalia tukawa na uchaguzi wenye hauna ukabila na tukawa na uchaguzi wa amani. Na mimi nitajenga katika msingi huo kuwaunganisha Wakenya wote na kushughulika na mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya. Going into the future, we have set a new standard of the politics of our nation, that going forward, we are going to have politics that is devoid of ethnicity and politics that is devoid of conflict or violence. We are going to have peaceful politics in the Republic of Kenya.
Ruto assured Kenyans of his efforts in reviving the economy, which he says can only come back to life on the basis of country's own revenue collection. The president noted that climate change could only be curbed by planting more trees, an initiative he launched a few weeks ago to combat issues of drought and hunger in the country.
Mumesikia pia tumesema tunataka kuondoa janga la mambo ya mazingira. Tuko na shida kubwa. Mvua siku hizi haina mpango. Inanyesha, inakwama, mvua inakuja inapotea kwa sababu ya hali ya mazingira katika dunia yote. Sisi kama Wakenya tumesema tunataka kupanda miti bilioni 15.
With this being the first Thanksgiving service in the president's backyard, the clergy present called on the president to unite the nation and bring everyone on board during his tenure. Israel Omwai, KUTV.
Well, now Kenyans from all walks of life on Monday celebrated the most anticipated day on the Christian calendar amid calls for peace in the country. On his part, Archbishop Philip Anyolo, of the Holy Family Basilica has called for peace and tolerance, urging Kenyans to show love and compassion to the less privileged in the society. Listening.
Christmas celebrations started on Saturday night across the country as Christian faithful flocked churches to usher in Christmas Day in style. On Sunday morning, the 25th believers turned out to church in large numbers to join in the Christmas Holy Mass. The celebratory mood was evident as Christmas hymn rented the air. Hundreds, men, women and children, flocked the Holy Family Basilica Church in Nairobi to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ.
The Christmas is a moment of peace, it's a moment of reconciliation in the families, it's a moment of all of us Kenyans reconciling and speaking one common message, the good news of our Lord Jesus Christ, the news of peace, the news of reconciliation, and the news of sharing all that we have.
Holy Basilica Archbishop Philip Anyolo further urged Christians to emulate the teaching of Jesus Christ.
Fellow Kenyans are suffering in the peripherals, for example, Marsabit, Lodwar, and all other semi-arid areas. We can be united. We have what they can have. We have what to give.
On his message to Kenyans during the festive season, Archbishop Philip Anyolo called for peace and tolerance, emphasizing the need to love one another and care for the needy.
Let us enter into the new year as a moment of us Kenyans, as united as we are, praying for peace and more peace in our country.
For some Christians, Christmas binds family and friends together, and it is a perfect time to reflect on the positive side of life.
Na nimefurahi kwa siku ya leo kuzaliwa kwa Yesu. Mipango yangu ni kushukuru Mungu. Oh, thanksgiving to God.
Leo imekuwa siku muhimu sana kwetu kama Wakristo. Na nashukuru kwa siku hii ya leo. Nashukuru Mungu sana kwa yote ametutendea maishani mwetu.
Even as hundreds flock Holy Basilica to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ, Kenyans have been urged to show love and compassion to the less privileged during this festive period. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Ivan. Still on the same breath, December 25th is a day that family members, together with friends, come together to grace the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, being a religious and cultural celebration day, Kenyans living in Nairobi have turned up in large numbers in Luna Park, where they join together to grace this historical day.
Thousands of Kenyans in Nairobi County were seen flocking in large numbers at Luna Park to celebrate together with fellow Kenyans. Many of them opting to celebrate the Christmas festivals in Nairobi due to the harsh economic conditions in the country.
Ni kusaliwa kwa Yesu Kristo tu. Ndio na maana nafurahia na kumbuka kwa kusaliwa kwake kwa sababu Mungu ndiye ametusaidia mpaka sasa hii.
Traders, however, explained their joy, with many of them saying that the high turnout of people was beneficial to them as their sales go high.
Leo biashara si mbaya sana, lakini watu ni wengi na hawana pesa. Pesa hakuna, ni ile tu struggle, but tunapata.
Leo kakrisi kameweza, si ati ni mchezo. Leo mboka iko fine, wera iko fine. Lakini wangeacha tuingie nditini. Lakini mimi nafanya shughuli ya maos na house kuko fine.
Nairobi County has attracted many, especially those who could not go home due to financial reasons. According to some, this year's celebrations are unique compared to the previous ones.
Tumeona watu wako wengi zaidi. Watu wamefurahia sana, watoto tumeleta familia. Nimefurahia na watu ni wengi zaidi, sababu inaonekana sasa shughuli za leo za Christmas zimefana sana.
Not only in Kenya, but in the East African countries are Christian faithful celebrating Christmas Day free than in the past two festive seasons, which they spent largely grounded by COVID-19 pandemic.
Edward Nyamo, Nairobi.
Thank you, Nyamo, for that report. Now, for a handful of days during the festive season, consumers have a few options in Kenya as most businesses close their doors to customers on December 25th, and those that are open typically run a limited schedule. In the Nairobi Central Business District today, desertion was witnessed in the business sector as Kenyans celebrated their Christmas, perhaps indoors. The puzzle is how many are locked out when it comes to shopping for their basic needs, especially the basic ones. Away from that, the port of Mombasa today welcomed a cruise ship christened MV Nautica with 572 tourists on board. This comes after the first cruise ship since 2018, the MV World Odyssey, with about 800 tourists docked at the port towards the end of November last year.
Kenya on Christmas Day received a second cruise ship MV Nautica at the port of Mombasa with 572 tourists on board. The passengers on board the luxurious cruise ship were welcomed by Tourism Cabinet Secretary Penina Malonza, Kenya Ports Authority officials and Kenya Tourism Board management officials.
There are over today 572 on board who have made Magical Kenya part of their cruise itinerary. Will have an opportunity to experience the new experiences, products, attraction that has made Kenya a world-class tourist destination.
The Tourism CS reiterated that as a government, they intend to grow cruise tourism as a niche product and actively engaging with relevant stakeholders, among them the Ministry of Transport and Operators, to ensure that the cruise industry benefits from the presence of relevant infrastructure at the Kenyan coast.
I can without a doubt say that out of the arrival of this cruise ship today, over almost 100 million will be injected in the economy through tourism activities, including visits to different attractions as well as accommodation. And so far we know a charter is left to suffer, and we know many others are leaving to other destinations. As a government, we intend to grow cruise tourism.
The KPA Chairman General Joseph Kibwana was represented by Captain Geoffrey Namadoa, the Harbour Master and General Manager Marine Operations. Namadoa said that KPA had invested heavily in the 1.3 billion shillings cruise ship terminal at the port, detailing their focus on branding the terminal as the best in the region and Africa at large for cruise tourism.
The coming of this vessel is a clear demonstration that our marketing strategy is actually working out, and we're having more of these vessels coming in. We are expecting another vessel next month, before the end of next month, which will be an additional revenue to the economy of Kenya.
The ship will leave Mombasa territorial waters today, Sunday evening, heading to Zanzibar, the Cape Town in South Africa, before heading to Japan after one-day excursions by the holiday makers in Tsavo National Park and a tour of Mombasa tourist attraction sites. Before docking at Mombasa Saturday night, the vessel had cruised from the Mediterranean Sea in November, heading to Dubai, then India. Anodida, KUTV, Nairobi.
Well put, Anne Odida. Now, in other news, His Excellency President William Ruto has congratulated the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Richard Ngatia, upon his appointment at the Council of the World Chamber Federation. In a tweet, the president said, and I quote, "This is an important development for Kenya's MSME agenda as we gear up for the Kenya International Investment Conference in March 2023. Mr. Ngatia was appointed by the ICC Chairman Nicholas Uribe Dreda and is to be effective immediately. At the same time, Kenyan businesses are focusing on increased trade between Kenya and the United States following talks and agreements during the just concluded Africa-US Summit in Washington, D.C. Of particular interest is the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, that provides free U.S. market access to hundreds of products from Kenya. Mr. Ngatia says the chamber will work closely with the government to increase Kenya's business to export more variety of finished products to the United States. Well, it is 20 minutes past the top of the hour, and as promised, I'm going to, read your comments and give you the shout-outs that I promised. Frank Mark from Mombasa is saying Merry Christmas, and also Gideon Moturi is also saying Merry Christmas. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Wazazi wangu ni special sababu wananipenda sana na mimi nawapenda pia. Kabla ya kuzaliwa, nikikuwa kwa tumbo ya mama, aliamua kulilinda na UHC super cover. Wazazi wangu walinilinda na wakajilinda na UHC super cover. Wana kila kitu ya kutulinda. Waliniambia inalipia kutibiwa magonjwa mingi. So leo ningependa kuambia mami na dadi asanti kwa kutumia UHC super cover. I love you.
Wacha familia yako iwe bora kadri uwezo wao, maana UHC super cover tuko nawe. Je, jukumu lako ni lipi? Ni rahisi. Lipia NHIF yako kila mwezi ya shilingi 500 pekee ili kujali afya yako, ya familia na jamii. Iwapo hujajisajili kama memba wa NHIF, tembelea kituo cha NHIF au huduma center yote nchini. Bonyeza *155# kujisajili au download My NHIF app kwa Google Play na Apple Store kujisajili. UHC Super Cover. Sasa sote tuko sawa.
UHC Super Cover na NHIF.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Chase
Welcome back. The government will get rid of brokers and middlemen in a move aimed at reducing the cost of food production in the country. Now, President William Ruto termed the intervention at the production level right and targeted and will make farmers produce more. Under the new approach, the National Government Administration will be tasked with the collection of data on farmers that will inform policy decisions.
Speaking during a meeting with regional and county commissioners with the aim of finding ways to manage the cost of living in the country, President William Ruto said that removing brokers and middlemen in the agriculture sector will help reduce the cost of food production. The president insisted that the corruption will not be part of his administration, and as part of long-term plan to make the country food secure, the president noted that the government will use stockists to distribute fertilizers.
Corruption is not going to be part of this government. The people who are used to shortcuts, cartels, the brokers who are waiting outside there, I want to assure you, we will do whatever it takes to make sure that we get rid of the corrupt in our system.
On his part, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua asked the provincial administrators to serve rather than suppress the people. The DP said that it was regrettable that some of them had used their office to undermine leaders and advance political interests that divided the country.
Let us project the right image for government, that we are there to serve the people, not to suppress them. We are there to assist the government to do positive things.
Among leaders present at the occasion were Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindike and Agriculture CS Mithika Linturi, among other leaders, who also urged other legislators in the country to serve the people of Kenya without any discrimination.
All public servants, including Ngao officers, to comply with the law, which requires us to be professional, neutral, impartial, and serve all Kenyans without any discrimination on the basis of any division whatsoever.
One of President Ruto's manifesto was boosting the agriculture sector. The head of state had noted that he has plans of enhancing the country's agriculture productivity through access to affordable input, including fertilizer and certified seeds, one that has continued to work so far. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
In other news, Kirinyaga County Member of Parliament Jane Jerry has called on the government to promote the agriculture sector by discouraging importation of rice from other countries. Speaking in Mwea scheme, Jerry noted that the county is the leading rice producer, but farmers in the area are stuck with their rice due to the lack of market, while the country has planned to import the commodity from Pakistan.
Speaking in Mwea scheme in Kirinyaga County, the area Member of Parliament Janet Njeri noted that by encouraging shipment of rice into the country, government is importing poverty among Mwea traders. Therefore, they need to ensure that the local market is exhausted before allowing any imports.
Mwea has the best quality of rice, and we have heard from the government that they want to import rice from Pakistan or from other cheaper countries. And we want to tell the government, the people of Mwea fully supported the hustler nation. And the people of Mwea are hustlers and they're farmers. And it is not fair that there are any imports that are done before Mwea rice is fully consumed.
Rice farmers in Mwea joined the protest, saying that they have enough stock to feed the country until the next harvest in 2023. According to the farmers, the duty-free rice will damage the market for their produce as it is likely to be cheaper.
So of course when it comes to competition in the market, that is unfair competition.
Kama wakazi wa Mwea tumekataa hiyo mchere ya Pakistani iingie Mwea. Hiyo mchere ya Pakistani ikiingia Mwea imeharibu biashara ya mfanyikazi wa Mwea.
Kama tunaweza pewa maji mingi alafu fertilizer ishushwe bei, at least mchele ya Mwea inaweza kuwa mingi na tukue na production.
Kirinyaga County government has given first priority to rice cultivation, regarding it as a food security crop. Out of all 24 counties which grow rice in the country, Only Kirinyaga County has taken rice as the main cash crop. Anodida, KUTV, Nairobi.
Sports coming up after this break.
Wakenya wengi wanataka kubadilisha afya ya Wakenya kuwa bora. Wengine wanafikiria ni kwa kufanya harambee ili kusaidia wale ambao hawawezi kumudu pesa nyingi za matibabu. Ingawaje hili husaidia, cha muhimu zaidi ambacho unaweza kufanya ni kuhimiza kila mtu kujisajili kwa UHC Super Cover. Ni shilingi 500 pekee kila mwezi. Kwa kufanya hivyo, unasaidia Wakenya kufikia bima ya afya wanayoweza kumudu, ili wale wasioweza kumudu mahitaji ya matibabu ya afya wanaweza kupata bima ya afya wakati wowote ule wanapokuwa na hitaji. Iwapo Wakenya wengi watalipa UHC Super Cover, basi Wakenya tutazidi kuwa wenye afya njema. Haya ndiyo mabadiliko tunayotaka. Je, jukumu lako ni lipi? Ni rahisi. Lipia NHIF yako kila mwezi ya shilingi 500 pekee ili kujali afya yako, ya familia na jamii. Iwapo hujajisajili kama memba wa NHIF, tembelea kituo cha NHIF au Huduma Center yote nchini. Bonyeza *155# kujisajili au download My NHIF app kwa Google Play na Apple Store kujisajili. UHC Super Cover. Sasa sote tuko sawa.
UHC Super Cover na NHIF. Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Welcome back. Happening in sports, the Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba has expressed his dissatisfaction with the standards of Kenyan football. Ababu, who was speaking during a bottom-up tournament pitting Gor Mahia against Rarienda combined, said for Kenya to return to its glory days, more emphasis needs to be put on the development of grassroots football. On his part, Information and Communication Technology CS Eliud Owalo said that the tournament will be used to identify raw talent in the grassroots that can be nurtured to exploit their full potential.
We used to dominate the East African Championship, for instance, completely. You'd find Gor Mahia, Leopards exchanging the cup over the years, especially in the 80s. Those days are long behind us now. But for us to return those glory days and go even further, we have to go back to the basics. And the basics, as determined by government, the Kenya Kwanza government, is to develop grassroots football. So we are going to do academies across the country.
We use this type of friendly matches to identify raw talent at the grassroots that can be nurtured to exploit their full potential.
Well, now at least 40 grassroots coaches in Kisii County have benefited from a Confederation of African Football CAF D coaching course after the conclusion of a 10-day coaching course organized by the Football Kenya Federation officials in the county. The course, which kicked off last week at Getembe playing ground in Kitutu Chache South sub-county, saw a total of 40 coaches from the region undertaken through physical endurance tests to ensure they are up to speed with the dynamic of the game. Well, that marks the end of our broadcast tonight, and a lot of people have been celebrated and want to take this opportunity, even as we conclude, to wish a very Merry Christmas to my family here at KUTV, my home family, that's my mom, dad, and my siblings. A very Merry Christmas to you. My family at Ruai Family Hospital, a very Merry Christmas to you, and all those that have watched. I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2023. We leave it at that for tonight. Have a very good night. I've been in the company of Sami Okelo. My name is Daphne Orina. Good night.